All right, this is drinkanddank.blogspot.com. We're out here at the National Harbor with Amir from Grand Hustle. All right, Amir, tell us about your role at Grand Hustle and yourself.
Um, me and boy, Grand Hustle, VP of Promotions. I'm pretty much responsible for the whole roster, whether it's from T.I. to Ball and G to B.O.B., helping get the records played on the radio in our own respective regions of the country, which is the South. And that's what my role.
How'd you get into this?
Actually, I started. Actually, the Grand Hustle situation came from just having great relationships with Jason Jeter, who's the CEO and owner, partner, manager of T.I. But I've been, dipping and dabbing in promotions since '99, I believe. My first gig was at WPGC, 95.5, and I was just a regular old promotions guy. Came in there and worked hard, and my work ethic has gotten me several different steps, several different levels throughout my career, and I think that's one thing I always tell people: like, if you work hard, you never have to fill out a job application.
In your bio, you sent me. It said that you were involved in several innovative promotions while you're at WPGC. Can you give us an example?
Yeah, we used to do these Peace on the Street jams back in the day, and we would go into the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know one time we did one in Landover. Pull up, set up a stage, and encourage people to stop violence. You know what I'm saying? We bring go-go bands out there. You know what I'm saying? We did one around Bennett Park one time. You know what I'm saying? We did one in several different places, and then we also did right after 9/11 hit. We set out in front of the Pentagon, and for almost 2 days, and raised a gang of money for that. We used to have PGC was the community station, and I was involved in a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that being in the community, a lot of that kind of stuff, and that radio station when I was there was really a great place to learn radio and learn how to be a master at your craft. I was there when Tigger was there.
With the viral explosion, record labels' marketing has changed drastically. How do you personally and Grand Hustle as a whole stay ahead of that curve?
It's almost it's kind of tricky because when it comes to breaking records, you have to use the viral, blast your music out. You're using different blog sites, using different blast sites. But at the same time, you still got to do some of the things you used to doing the same way. You still physically got to go to DJs at the clubs and give them real music. You know what I'm saying? Because the ones that aren't doing that are sitting behind a laptop and they don't have no real relationships. I think people have gotten so used to blasting out music and not making a physical placement of music confused. You know what I mean? When I walk in the club, DJs like seeing me come in the club. You know what I mean? They know that I probably got some heat with them. All right, then on the flip side, you got the viral stuff. Well, there's a need for that because I can't get to DC every day. So I send the music up here to Alizé, I send it up here to Quicksilver, I send it up here to Flex, I send it up here to Soundwave, and they get the music too. So there's a need for both parts of it. You know what I'm saying? And when I come to the city, I still need to see them and make sure they got the music and so forth. But I think people have taken the viralness or the viral usage out of, they've taken it so much and used it so much that they don't get personal with people. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a double-edged sword. You know what I'm saying? It works. It's one of the biggest and greatest inventions ever, but at the same time, people aren't talking and seeing and touching people as much as they used to. You know what I'm saying? So during hustle, we still got to use both. You know what I mean? We still use both. We still, you know, yeah, we're gonna blast music out, but we still gonna press up maybe 200 CD.
Gotcha. As an executive in the music business, how important is the ability to say no?
Man, it's very important. And I will admit I have a problem with doing it sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know, I do understand the value of the word no. Because you have to, and sometimes it's not all about the word no, it's about, man, let's keep the doors of communication open when I say no. Because no it might be no right now, but it might not mean no later. When I'm talking to program directors, you know what I'm saying, I might say, well, you know, do you like this record, would you play it? And they might say no. And then my job really doesn't start until I hear the word. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, no really for me is a key word for me to say, okay, all right, now it's time to really start putting the work together. But for me to say no to someone else, I'm not sure how they may take it. You know what I'm saying? So I have to be cognizant of that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I still have to be who I am. So if I say no to you, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm saying no forever, depending on what it is. Obviously, but I'm saying no right now. I hope that you got the same kind of tenacity that I do to make my no turn into a yes.
Right. Everybody's aware of T.I.'s situation, and he's got an album coming out this week. How hard is it for you to market an album from an incarcerated artist?
Man, I mean, man, if Tip was out right now, this interview may not be happening because I would be on the road somewhere. You know what I'm saying? It's very difficult. Even prior to Tip, you know, when I used to work in Atlanta, I worked Lil Kim's Naked Truth album. She was in jail the whole time. And, I mean, to me, that might be her second best album. But nobody really knows because she wasn't out able to promote it. So, now obviously, I'm not comparing the two because where Kim was then and where Tip is now, it's like, but at the same time, it is very difficult to do. But, you know, when you got a machine behind you like Atlantic Records, and then you got a good team, you know, solid team with Grand Hustle, we'll figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Right now, you know, you look online, you look on the websites and on Twitter, and that's all you hear is people talking about what songs they like from the No Mercy album. So we obviously doing something correct. Went in there, he bought a couple of boxes, and you know, and then other people was coming in there too, and we straight up tell them like, yo, we'll sign your CD if you buy it. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that when you're incarcerated. That's one of the things you can't do. You know what I'm saying?
Right, you have a relationship with Kevin Liles. What's something you learned from him?
Man, I learned a lot from Kevin, man. His drive, man, is really what I was won over with the most. And I actually had a relationship with Kevin, which ended up having me, you know, which ended up helping me get the gig. But it's a lot of people that I've taken things from. Kevin being one, The Mention being another, over in Clear China. Azim Rashid, another one. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that I've taken things from. But from Kevin, you know, I actually got to spend a lot of time with him when he was on his book tour. And he and I, you know, got to, you know, spend a lot of time. And I just would ask him about things like, you know, balancing this life we live and your family. You know, how to do that. You know what I'm saying? But I was most impressed with Kevin's drive, and he wasn't too far removed from where I was. So he wouldn't ask me to do anything that he wouldn't do himself.
Tell us about PR Amir Promotions.
Premier
Promotions, excuse me.
It's really a company set up to help independent and major labels get records. And, you know, I come up with different ideas to make people say yes. And that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying?
What's one piece of advice you could give to an independent artist trying to get his record promoted?
Um, Save your money. Get your internet game up. In your city, have your city on Smash, and know every DJ in that city. And then have a hot record. You know what I'm saying? Like, and don't just think that your record is hot because your homeboy said it. You know what I mean? Go find you a female that don't even know you and play it for her. And then know who you're going after. I mean, it ain't one thing, it's several things, man. But know who your demo is, know who you're making your music for. You know what I'm saying? We'll tell you this. Most of this stuff is set up out here for females. So know who you're catering to. You know what I'm saying? Learn this business, man. Don't just wait on somebody to tell you the business. Learn the business. And man, stay independent. Stay independent as long as you can. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you get a lot of artists out here getting in these bad situations. And I'm not anti-label, but I do believe that if you got enough relationships and you got a name for yourself, you can last a lot longer being independent. You can call your own shots, and that's one of the things about Grand Hustle is we got relationships everywhere. You know what I mean? We got relationships at radio, we got relationships at print, we got relationships at video placement, we got relationships viral. You know what I'm saying? We got relationships with the whole everything that's around this business. So I would definitely say that to an artist. Then make sure your team is on point, because you got to have a team. You need not to be trying to represent yourself. A person that manages himself has food for a client.
Heard that. Right. How important is the blog specifically to Grand Hustle's marketing campaigns?
I mean, nowadays, that's the first way you get stuff out. You know what I mean? And it goes back to what I was saying earlier about, the viral, how much it means to us. I mean, you can have the beauty about blogs and things of sort is you can actually send something to someone, whether it be a song or video or whatever, and then go out and do the legwork while that stuff is happening virally. You know what I mean? It's like you two places at once, depending on how big the story is, or the video is, or the song is, or whatever. So it's a tool that every artist in this day needs to be up on. You know what I mean? Blogging and dealing with the bloggers. You need them to spread the word. You need bloggers to spread the word. There ain't no such thing as negative press. So when we do listening parties, sometimes I do specific listening parties for bloggers. You know what I mean? Invite them all. Sometimes I do them just for DJs. You know what I'm saying? I do them just for DJs because I need them to be a part of whatever we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Initially, I want the DJs to know what we're doing, what we're trying to do, and let them know I need their help. All right, then I may say we're gonna do another listening party. We did this with Big Boy. We did one with we just did a listening party for bloggers and radio people and stuff like that. And people went back next day, man. I mean, not even next day, later that night, and all you was hearing was about how dope his album was. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's definitely a plus. You know what I mean? I guess the only downside of it is when you got bloggers who don't really support you and try to tear you down. But there's room for them too. You know what I'm saying? Room for them.
All right, and finally,